To make playoffs, you need to be in the top 6 teams. Right now, we're tied for 5th with NRG.
When you're only plus or minus 1 game on these teams, it's still up for grabs.
There's a lot of movement still to be had.
NRG having a rough last. They're still in a playoff position.
솔직히 저희가 6등 안으로 못 들 것 같지 않고요. 충분히 할 것 같아요.
Yeah, very good at the roles. I definitely admire like the way a lot of Korean players just play their role. But nowadays, like League's more team-centric. I think with the right game plan, with the right mentality, I think we can just take any game from anyone right now.
Welcome to Week 8 of the North American LCS. We had some incredible games yesterday, and fans are hyped for another day of Nexus to Nexus League action. Now, we're coming to you live from the Battle Arena in Los Angeles, California, to bring you all of the Sunday showdowns. Earlier in the day, Lee Sin was kicking fans into gear, while the crowd brought the energy to cheer up our very own Sad Mummy. And here you can see Cloud9. They're entering the studio for their game today. They'll be going up against Team Impulse. Of course, you see here, they're making their way to the stage just moments ago, looking for a win today as they weren't able to pick up one yesterday. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson, and joining me on the analyst desk this afternoon is guest analyst Mark Zimmerman, along with Aiden Zyrene Moon and Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What up?
What up? There it is.
You recovered from yesterday?
Kobe gets the award for most energy at the beginning of the day. We'll see if you guys can step up the game.
He's going to win that all day.
He might. Before we get into our discussion, let's get a refresh of the current standings. Immortals is in first place with Cloud9 and CounterLogic Gaming tied for second. TSM is in fourth with Liquid and NRG Esports following behind in fifth and sixth place, respectively. Echo Fox has risen through the ranks and is one win behind playoff position in seventh. And at the bottom of the league, we have teams Impulse and Dignitas in 8th and 9th, and Renegades in last. But teams still have 3 games left to play in the regular season, so let's see what we have in store today. First up is Cloud9 versus Team Impulse, and later in the day, TSM takes on Renegades. Then Team Dignitas goes up against Immortals, while Echo Fox and CounterLogic Gaming close out the day. Game 2, though, is our match of the week. NRG Esports and Liquid going head-to-head as they battle for playoffs. We'll talk more about that matchup in just a little bit, but right now let's talk about our final game of yesterday's competition, Echo Fox versus Team Dignitas. Kobe's already getting excited for it. Echo Fox played a 60-minute slugfest against the Dignitas squad in a game that resulted in 9 total dragons, 4 barons, and an epic backdoor to win the game. Now, tons of fans took to Twitter to share about Echo Fox's victory, including some of the LCS pros, Doublelift and Bjergsen, along with the team owner, Rick Fox, who thought, hey, a whole restaurant would be a more appropriate reward than just dinner. Okay, I wish that I could get a reward like that when I win a game.
The problem is, I'm pretty sure they're going to pick a terrible restaurant. They're going to do like Chipotle or something that I bought for them.
Is that just what all the pros
I don't mean
will be
terrible. Like, if you could have a restaurant, you pick Chipotle.
That's actually dangerous if you
I would pick
bought
like a Michelin
Chipotle
star
right now.
restaurant or something. I don't know.
What would be your choice in cuisine?
I would go with this place called Capo. It's like this ridiculous Italian place.
You here?
In Santa Monica.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be checking that out.
Yeah, look it up.
Putting that on the list, putting it back here in the brain.
Under new management now, I don't know if
That's true. All right, okay, well, some of you responded at home using the hashtag LCS Big Plays to highlight the big moment, and Not Your Name summed it up nicely. Keith, big and hard through the back door. What a finish. What a game. Here's your LCS Big Play.
He's going for the turret. He's trying to save the game as Big takes up the damage. Keith will be knocking down this turret.
Hit it. Can you get it? You're faster. Go. I can't. I'm 10%. Go. I got you.
Not only was that an insane ending to the game and ridiculous just to cast, but that was a season-saving, possibly, game for Echo Fox. You know, they could try and make the playoffs now. And such a heartbreaker for Team Dignitas fans.
Yeah, talk about being in control, literally having a gold lead for the entirety of that game. Even when you lost, you still had a gold lead. That is a tough one to stomach for Dignitas, and as you mentioned, a real momentum boost for Echo Fox, knowing that they're still in the running, one game behind NRG for a playoff spot.
And when you have Dragon 5 3 times and multiple Barons, and you can't close the game out, then you really have to go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, maybe it wasn't comp. Maybe we need to make more proactive plays and see these windows of opportunity. So Dignitas, they have a lot of work to do.
Not to mention, we had 2 CS records set in the same game. First and second worldwide by Froggy.
I feel like that
Heat.
outer turret lasting an entire hour is also...
We got to go back.
I don't think that'll
We're going to have to send someone back to just scrub all the VODs and make sure. But yeah, a first-tier turret going down at 60 minutes, that's, oof.
Yeah.
Congrats to that turret. Anyway, let's talk about the current playoff picture. The top 3 teams have already locked in playoff spots, so there are only 3 more spots up for grabs. Now, 2 teams fighting for those bottom slots are Liquid and NRG Esports, who face off today in our match of the week. So my question to you, gentlemen, is what are these teams going to have to do to come out with a win today? Starting with NRG, Zyrene, since they're coming off that tough loss yesterday, they're the ones looking for the rebound.
Yeah, they definitely need to actually show some teamwork at this point in the season, because we've been waiting for them to mesh for a very long time, and they still look like an individualistic squad. Yesterday, we saw the solo laners pretty much look desperate to try and make plays, and that's what ended up losing them the game, is that they tried to be too proactive without the entire team around them. So that's what I want to see, is them actually coming together as a team, because we haven't seen it the entire season. And I think the squad just needs to up the trust in each other, say they have each other's backs, and get on the same page.
I feel like it's a tough situation to be in for the solo laners, because they actually have the largest deficit at 15 minutes average, and they also have the lowest number of first blood. So that's a team that's struggling to do anything in the early game. And when you've been in that spot for so long, you're just, like you said, desperate to do anything to like get an advantage. And I think that's something that's going to be very difficult in the TL game with such a strong early game jungler in Dardoch.
Yeah, the desperation definitely showed yesterday in the game when they were tower diving really early on, blowing flashes and not getting rewards.
Yeah, we saw the GBM TP in, gold card possibly on the wrong target. Immediately following that play, Impact diving solo into 4 people beyond the second tier turret when the first tier turret is still up. Yeah. So looking for those individuals to step up. On the side of Liquid, though, and I'm going to come back to you, Mark, here for Liquid, how do they keep this momentum going? They're on a 3-0 win streak right now. They're looking to continue moving up in the standings. Well, what are you looking for out of them today?
I hope they keep doing the same thing that they've been doing, which is like Lorlo on a tank, hopefully get him on a decent matchup there, and then giving Dardoch something he can do early game. Like Lee Sin has been super good for him, and then letting Phoenix and Piglet kind of carry once Dardoch gets them an advantage, because Phoenix and Piglet are 2 of the best carries in the league, I think.
Yeah. We've been seeing that more and more, as well as teams across the world go to tank top and then a DPS jungler. We're seeing more Kindred. We're seeing Lee Sin come back into favor. So we're seeing these carry junglers, and I think Dardoch is definitely one of the best carry junglers in the LCS right now. So he's definitely up to the task, and that's a great strategy for them. And their shot calling is actually getting better. They're closing out these late game leads that they have, and they aren't stumbling. So they're able to actually get that deeper vision and not just win by team fighting over and over again.
Mark, you mentioned Phoenix being one of the carries for Team Liquid next to Piglet. I want to highlight that mid lane matchup, because we just turned a critical eye to GBM and maybe needing to step up solo play. Kobe, talk to me a little bit about this matchup between GBM and Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, so if we just look at the statistics, you know, Phoenix has been putting up great numbers all season long, and he's really been a workhorse for the team. But GBM, as I said, there's so much pressure on NRG on the solo laners to come up with big plays, and GBM has done that, you know, early in the season. He's got 3 Baron steals just by himself, and so with such a rough early game on NRG, you know, he's trying to create a lot for the team, but it just feels like Phoenix right now has the edge in this matchup, just straight up 1 versus 1. It's up to GBM to really make up for that with some big play in the mid game or late game for the team.
Numbers-wise, on that graphic, we saw a couple discrepancies, a slightly higher KDA for Phoenix and a slightly higher CS at 10 differential for Phoenix. But would you say stylistically, in terms of the way these 2 players play in the mid lane, Mark, will make a difference more so than the actual stats that they're throwing up?
Actually, no. I think they match up very well.
Okay.
And so Phoenix, I have a little bit of a bias. I love Phoenix, and I think he's underrated by a lot of people because they saw the Azir highlights last year, and they're just caught up on those plays versus seeing how he actually plays the game. And he's super lane dominant, and he just wants to like crush you in lane. And GBM, very similarly, is like a very lane-dominant player, and I think that's where you're going to see a great matchup between the two.
That's the thing with GBM as well, is when he doesn't dominate lane, he actually kind of tilts a little bit, and then he tries to do too much, and he'll actually end up making himself further behind at that point and putting himself into deficit.
The other thing about GBM is he kind of is the center of the team. They build their whole team strategy around him a lot of the time and around his unique picks that he can bring in. So, he really is the mid lane, and he's also kind of the center of the way that they like to play the game.
Alrighty, well, that's plenty of us for plenty for us. Plenty of us. There's 4 of us today, but that's plenty for us to keep our eyes on in Game 2. But first up is Game 1. So that's enough chatter here at the desk. Let's send it over to the casters to start off the day.